global early childhood conversation. We're so excited that you're here to watch and listen. We are three early childhood educators who just want to share our passion and talk about what makes sense to us during these times. So let's get started. We have Stacey and Chandni with me today. And go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Stacey Benj, and I am an early childhood speaker and presenter from the Dallas, Texas area. If you're on social media, I am on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. I think all of them. And I do have a website too, www.staceybenj.com. But I'm passionate about early childhood and just whole child development from birth to 5.
Welcome, Stacey. I'm so glad you're here. Chandni?
Okay, I can go next. Yeah. Hi, Prerna. Hi, Stacey. So amazing to connect with you both. Okay, so I am Chandni Golecha. I have an Instagram account and Facebook account both. You can find me on Instagram by the name of Chandni Golecha itself. And I am an early childhood educator plus a parent coach. I'm pursuing my Waldorf teacher training right now. And I'm running a homeschool with 13, 14 kids. So thank you so much for having me over.
Thank you for being here. We're so excited you joined us. I'm Prerna Richards. You pronounce Prerna as you're praying. It's always important to point that out. And I've been in early childhood for the past 35 years. I'm absolutely passionate about all things early childhood and young children. I do have a website, togetherwegrow.online. And I do have social media, Instagram and Facebook. And I'm constantly posting latest research related to young children. So if you're passionate about young children, join the conversation. I do also have a YouTube channel. And most recently, I've started coaching families, individual families that are dealing with behavior at home, that they don't know what to do and they need help. And I also do consulting and providing professional development for schools. So if you're looking for that, reach out to any one of us. We're all trainers and presenters. So let's get started with our conversation. The first question that comes to mind, Stacey and Chandni, it is, we've been in COVID for the last 9 months now, and we don't know the long-term effects of COVID, what it'll be on young children. What do you think might be the long-term effects from your perspective? And what can parents do right now to be more intentional about it?
I think that, just looking at young children, one of the concerns I have is the social aspect that children are being told right now, that they can't share things, not to be too close to people, not to hug. My great niece was over here the other day, and she's 5 years old. And, when she walked in, it was the hesitation of hugging us because we are becoming so distant. And so that's one of the things that I'm concerned about is not only from that social aspect, but the mental health component of that as well. And so advice I give parents and educators too in the classroom is still let children play, still let them have those experiences, because when we kind of do a risk analysis, yes, we are worried about the virus and contracting it, but we do have this whole other aspect of development that we also need to be concerned with, because the getting along with others, that social development is so important just for life success. And so let children play, let them have those experiences. And maybe we are washing our hands a little bit more or disinfecting the materials, paying more attention to that. But just making sure that we are allowing that balance and that we are not just isolating children too much, that they're not getting those experiences.
Such a good point that, yes, we have to keep them safe, but also let's keep the mental health in our perspective. So valuable a reminder. What would you encourage families to do right now? Just to let them play and just be cautious and wash hands more?
Yeah, absolutely. Just still let them have those experiences. And I think another kind of aspect of this is that when we start to isolate in our homes, we start doing way more digital technology. And so just kind of be aware of that and balance that out. And at least here in Texas, our weather is gorgeous right now, so going outside and playing outside more, and but still letting children have those social interactions and that peer relationship.
Great point. What about you, Chandni, from your perspective?
Okay, so Prerna, I feel because I'm in a small town, we haven't really been affected by COVID that badly. The explosion is not that bad like how you all are facing in the bigger setups. But I would encourage the families, the individual families, the nuclear families, especially, to come together, and instead of eating alone, and instead of doing the errands alone, let's come all together and do it in a collaborative setup, because that is the time when when the children needs the family the most. Now these are the times when the children, forget about children, even we as adults, we need the human. The moment we were isolated, the moment we were taken away, the human contact was taken away, we wanted it even more. So this is a psychology, this is a human psychology, that if you are asked not to do something, you want to do it even more. So when I was in isolation, when I was contracted with COVID, that was the time, first 3 days were very good, because I was like, I'm getting all my time alone, and I'm separated. I can watch my TV shows. I can do this, that. I had plans. But what happened on the sixth day was a completely different scene. I wanted to be with my family. I wanted to be with everyone. So I think I would just suggest one thing to everybody, to all the parents, irrespective of any age of children they have. Just bring as much collaboration as possible. Fathers who are not working in the kitchen, who are not treating the work equals, they all should come together and start working together. Yeah.
Good point. Yeah, use this time to develop some family time together. And
Yes.
yeah, from my perspective, I feel like what children need the most, young children from birth to 8, I would say they need a responsive adult, meaning somebody who's available for them, having this back and forth opportunity to have conversation and interactions, but also they need engaging activities, things to do to figure things out, problem solve. So I would say let them do more self-help skills while you're at home, while you're not going to school. This doesn't need to be a wasted time. This could be time that we're learning new self-help skills. We are maybe creating new family traditions and, creating new family times that luckily we've all been slowed down. So take advantage of it and come out stronger as a family. Um,
Yeah, I think parents can model resilience, in these tough times by being resilient. So everything, the self-regulation, the self-help, being resilient starts from you first, and then it goes down to the child.
Absolutely. And does anybody have any ideas of ritual or tradition that they wanted to share with families?
Yeah, so Prerna, I would like to go here first. In my homeschool setup, we have started a very small ritual, which is given by the Waldorf setting, that we light a candle before eating our meals. So in the first week, children were blowing away the candles, but in the second week, they started understanding that, why are we lighting this candle? What is the whole idea about lighting this candle? What our food is coming from this fire. We call it fire fairies, and we sing this small song. Fire fairies come to us. So then I told them that the food which you're eating is also cooked on the fire fairy, is cooked by the fire fairies. So they got so excited, and they started thanking, they started giving gratitude to their mothers, to their grandmothers, that thank you so much for giving us fire fairy, not the
Oh,
food but the fire fairy. So it's a small ritual, and I think parents can start bringing in the rituals, because in India, Stacey, especially, you might not be knowing, India was always very famous for all the rituals. For every
Okay.
ceremony, we have a ritual before we start. So now this made a lot of sense back then, and it still makes a lot of sense now. But somehow, in the rush of life, we all have uh, removed these rituals from our lives. But I would like
Mm.
to request parents to bring it back, and let children be excited for that one particular ritual.
I love it. I love it. The fire fairies. I love it. And gratitude practice. What could go wrong with a gratitude practice? I would say a little ritual you could do is the breathing. We all
Mm.
need to do more breathing, the deep breathing to fill up our lungs. And I think the more breathing that you can do as a family, the more you will have children that are regulated versus dysregulated. And let the children be creative and say, what type of breathing should we do? And if they come up with a roller coaster or a ferry or whatever, just ask them, how do you do it? Show me how you do it. Doesn't matter what the hands are doing, get the breath in. So as a family, I would encourage everybody to take more deep breaths. What about you, Stacey? Could you recommend a ritual that or a tradition?
Not so much, I would say, like a ritual or tradition. And I'm sitting here thinking, man, we should have had more rituals in my household when my boys are growing up. But I would just kind of say, and I think it is kind of somewhat what you guys are saying, but just having a consistent routine, and and I think that's what the rituals bring in is we know what to expect, and there's so much comfort when I know what's going to happen next, and this could be just before bedtime that we do a story, we do whatever, then we go to sleep, but whatever the ritual or routine is or ritual is, just making sure there is that consistency, and the child just know there's a lot of comfort with, okay, I know this is what's going to happen next.
Great point. I think routines help us to give us security and safety. And I love your ritual at night, a bedtime story. Maybe there could be a gratitude practice at the end of the day. That if you haven't already done
Mhm.
that with your child, you could end the day with, what are three things that you loved about today? And getting the child to
Mhm.
reflect. So this wraps up our first segment. This is one of three. So if you're watching this and you like this, come back and look for us for the second and the third segment, and we will continue our conversation. Thank you, ladies.